Yeah, Simon Ferry's like, the Emperor's like, everyone play from the champion tees, like, unless you're over the age of 526. Then you get
That's such a specific number. What the fuck?
Person. Makes no sense.
I guess that's the rule. I don't want to fucking play with him. He has force power. He doesn't need to play from the women's tees. Dear Leslie, OMG, the McRib is back. Why did it ever leave? Welcome into the Bro Force Squad podcast. This is episode 74. We're just a bunch of bros drinking beer and talking movies. I'm your host, Jeff Hornacek. That quote was, of course, from The Hangover Part 3. I was trying to pick between any of Alan and Chow's letters because they're all really, really good.
Yeah,
Dear Alan, I threw my urine in a prison guard's face today. Anyway, thank you guys so much for checking us out. Before we get started and into the movie conversation, let's go around and meet the fellow bros. Joining me today, as always, in the lab, it's the mad scientist, Brian Banner. Banner, remember that sport we learned about in college where guys ride a horse and do something with a whip? I think it's played in the Middle East. I was wondering if you could actually recall any of the rules, because I wanted to describe it to someone I worked with and I couldn't really explain it.
Yeah, so you...
This is a real sport.
You have two teams and there's a dead goat, and you have to basically get a touchdown with the dead goat. I don't remember what it's called. Brent Barry, that was his shit. He would know. Fuck, it was awesome though. You can YouTube it.
They drag the goat corpse like across this field, right?
And they just whip the shit out of each other with like bullwhips.
Oh, that's right. It honestly looked like, or maybe a part of it was taken in one of the clips in Dodgeball when they were talking about ESPN the Ocho.
It was. You can YouTube it. It's actually fucking awesome. I would never.
But the goat has to be. The goat is dead, right? It's just a corpse of.
Yeah, it's just like a corpse of a dead. I actually think they eat its heart afterwards. Like that's the reward for the winning team.
Oh, so that's winning?
Yeah, it's a delicacy.
Oh. What movie is it from where they're talking about a child custody hearing, and the girl's like, "Oh, she must have a shitty lawyer. She got the kids." Like, no, that's what they want. Oh, that's winning. What fucking movie is that?
I don't know.
We're a movie podcast. We should know that. If you know at home, tweet at us at Bro4 Squad.
It's our challenge of the week. What movie is it? We know what it is, but we want to know if you know what it is. Yeah,
we definitely fucking know it. Duh. Next, we go into the paint to our enforcer, Matt Geiger. Matt, didn't you get suspended for something controversial back in high school? How about you share it with us in order to tell your side of the story?
Yeah, Jeff, I'm really not prepared for this question since we didn't have show notes, so I didn't get a chance to read it and come up with an answer. So
that's your answer? Like,
you guys
that's
suck.
it?
Like, really? I set you up for that and you say nothing? Okay.
I mean, apparently it's not. Do you think John Stockton passes to a guy who's double teamed and goes, "I set you up"?
We'll edit it out.
No, we won't.
Yeah, I got kicked out of high school for pulling a Tyreek Hill one time. Which one? We'll discuss later.
Which domestic dispute incident that he has?
Yeah. Roll twice. Roll the dice twice to find out.
Fool me once.
No one was gonna call me out for never reading show notes. I teed you up on that.
I don't know. It doesn't bring me the joy it used to.
Yeah, and you read them last week, so I feel like it's not the same.
Well, while I build up the fourth wall, just continue with the show, I guess.
Yeah, you work on that Minecraft style. All right, so if you've not listened to our show before, or if you have, you know that we start every episode off with the most important thing in any bro's life, and that is chest day. So our chest day today, we will be revisiting one of our world-famous bro versus bro segments, where we pit two movies against each other with one bro fighting for each of the two films, and the third bro being an objective judge. We have 5 categories with which we will judge these movies, so there are 5 points total to be awarded. First movie to 3 points wins, but we always play to the echo of the whistle, so we could end up playing for pride at the end of this. Now, Banner, you and Geiger are going to be each arguing for a respective movie tonight. I will be judging for the first time ever on the show, and I actually this is true. I have no idea what the two movies are. Yep. So why don't you tell me who will be representing what, and I will get my score sheet ready.
All right. So we decided with the summer movie season coming up, we were going to take two movies that are coming out this summer that are actually remakes, and we're going to try and make you watch the original. I will be representing the 1992 classic Aladdin, and Geiger will be representing the atrocity of Lion King.
The atrocity of Lion King?
I got to get my punches in where I can.
Force Ghost is somewhere with us. By the way, check out both our movie commentaries on these. I don't believe Lion King's out yet, but Aladdin certainly is. Lion King will be out in a couple months.
Nice. Now, the people that are like listening to the episode, they're like, I don't fucking understand that movies are in the title of the show. But as we did this, I didn't know that. So we'll add them after the fact. We record the show first,
behind the screens about how we really do things here.
I mean, we want them people at home to feel like they're part of the show. You can do everything except smell our breath, basically.
We literally just get drunk and hit record and see what happens.
Or be on the show, because we've tried that once and it didn't work out very well.
Yeah, some guys ended up driving by our house like fucking season 3 of True Detective. Banner literally doesn't even have a shirt on right now. That's how comfortable he is.
I don't even have pants on.
Oh. All right.
Let's get on with the show.
All right. So our first category is the acting and the cast. So since these are both animated films, of course, it will be solely based on the voice acting. And we typically like to judge these on their clout and reputation and performance at the time of the film. So if someone like star has fallen a little bit in the past 15, 20 years since the movie came out, we typically don't hold that against them. It's at the time the film came out. So acting and cast, Banner, I'll give you first crack with Disney's animated Aladdin.
All right, so low-hanging fruit here, Robin Williams. I don't know of an actor or a voice actor that is not the main character that steals the show more and is more iconic in a role as Robin Williams is as the genie. Unfortunately, he's not with us anymore, but this was at the height of what he was doing. And then to come in and just do everything that he did was awesome. Next voice actor I have is Steve from Full House, and
yeah,
he banged.
Not a good.
No, hear me out here. Hear me out here. He banged DJ for the first, so you got to give him credit for that. I mean, you got to give credit where credit is due.
On screen, which was weird for the show.
Who is Kirk Cameron's sister, so it's hard to get in those pants. They're very Christian.
See?
Good point, Banner.
Yep.
Oh, so that's
it?
Yeah, that's all I got, man. I'm just. This is
You're
kind
not
of
going to try Gilbert Gottfried?
Nah.
Or a boo?
Nah, I'm just going to punt.
Iago.
I'm just going to punt.
He's going to punt. Geiger, will you let him pin you deep, or will you return this? Voice cast and acting.
I can't even believe he didn't. I thought there was one thing that he could get me on this, but he didn't bring it up. Dude, this is a fucking layup for me. James Earl Jones, Nathan Lang, Jeremy fucking Irons, Jeff. You like him as Scar? Matthew Broderick, adult Simba. Whoopi Goldberg, Cheech Marijan. The only guy that could probably walk in my house right now and take my wife and bang her in front of me, Jonathan Taylor Thomas. Dude, this was fucking casted very well, voice casted. And the one thing I thought Banner would bring up is the music in this. Elton John, I think, needs to be credited on this voice casting. Although I don't believe any of the songs he actually sung made it I think that was just on the CD. Everything was sung by actors and stuff, but he wrote them all. I think this even beats the album on it, or the soundtrack for the movie. Voice casting and the soundtrack all together in acting and cast. This is a fucking layup for you, Jeff.
Yeah, I actually think The Lion King, the original, might have the best voice cast of any Disney movie ever. Banner, I do think, though, that Genie, like, if you had to pick which of the performances of the two movies is my favorite, it would probably be the Genie's. But the two best vocal performances in the movie are Robin Williams as the Genie and Robin Williams as Abu. And then he just has not much. He's like Allen Iverson on those early 2006ers teams. Who the fuck else is there to help him? So
Steve from Full House, I'm just saying.
Steve from Full House. Good. Fuller House now.
That's true.
So he's still on top of the world. I will go. I said that really like I was Irish. I will go Lion King with the acting and cast point. 1-0. All right. To the story. Geiger, I'll let you go first.
So, Banner's going to tell you all about the underdog story of Aladdin, which is true. It's a great underdog story. And you think that's what America's all about, but I digress. America's all about someone that had it all, lost it, and then came back to grace, a la Tiger Woods. Simba, born a prince of the Pride Lands. His father dies, which we'll get to probably in a little bit. And then he just kind of loses himself, goes out, fucking hangs out with Timon and Pumbaa, smokes some pot, maybe hits up some strange. I don't know what he did out there. Look at Lion King 1.5 to find out that. But he comes back, his rightful heir. He takes down Scar, his uncle. Great scene, great story. Everyone around him plays a critical role. There's no really characters that shouldn't be in it, from Rafiki to Timon and Pumbaa to Nala to his mother. It's just a very good story about someone that was born, yes, with a silver spoon in his mouth, but then had to find his way and was born in a great family and then basically lived up to his father's expectations. Great story.
Nice. Banner?
Jeff, I got a question for you.
He always does this in Rovers, bro.
What's your favorite kind of movie?
A heist film?
This is not an underdog story. This is a heist movie.
Okay, go on.
This is...
God, he's a disgusting animal.
This is a movie about somebody...
This is a heist movie.
Because this is a movie about somebody that wants something but nobody can know that he wants it. Jafar wants the treasure. He wants the genie's lamp. So he uses Aladdin to get what he wants. Okay? It's a heist movie. We don't know what's going on. We don't know how he's going to get it, but he gets it. All right? Got a few other wrinkles in there. All right? You got a dude that wants a treasure, but people can't know he's behind it. You've got a princess that falls in love with a kid from the slums. Father doesn't approve. She sneaks out late and does magical things to her carpet. Okay?
Why do I feel like you're actually trying to say something without actually saying it?
I'm not trying to say anything. All I'm saying...
Sounds like a high school movie. The father doesn't like you have a sweet car, and you bang her in the car.
Yeah, but there's also a heist movie because they're stealing shit.
It's Footloose, but set in the Middle East.
It's true. He's got me there.
You want to give me the point? And
this is
we'll
pretty much
we'll go tied.
It's funny when you talk about it, how similar these movies are, because if you take Aladdin from the point where he's Prince Ali, he too is a prince who loses everything and has to regain it, really. Lion King is
like the Milli Vanilli of princes, though, Jeff. Simba was a true prince.
When I was a kid, I remember... I think it was actually Ronnie Cycli who made me feel like an idiot when I said this, but I was like, Lion King is the greatest original story ever written. And he goes, it's Hamlet, you fucking idiot. And from that point on, I didn't talk to him for about 14 years just because I was so ashamed of myself. They're both great stories. You do kind of have me with the heist element. One thing I do like about Aladdin is that Jafar actually has more scenes with we don't get enough of Scar with Simba because of his plan in the movie, and I kind of like Jafar and Aladdin's back and forth, how he's sort of the puppet for Jafar and doesn't realize it because he's so blinded by what he wants. So this is a really close one, but Banner, I will give you the point for Aladdin, also because you're a disgusting animal and referenced it as a heist film.
Sidebar, do you think Jafar and Scar had the same artist? Because they kind of look the same.
In Aladdin, there is a scene where Jafar has a lion skin rug, and it is Scar in his office. Wow. So nice little.
What's more badass than having Scar on your floor?
I don't know. Nothing.
Okay. Banging Jasmine on top of it? I don't know.
Okay. Touche.
Yep. Just got point for best scene. Thanks, Geiger.
The best scene. So the chance here is Geiger has probably 3 of the top 4. Will he fuck it up and just pick the wrong bullet in his chamber to use on you? Banner, we'll let you go first just to build the suspense on that question.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is one where I'm probably gonna punt, but the whole new world where they're singing in the stars, that's probably the first romantic scene that we all saw as a child that actually understood, like, oh wow, that is romantic. That song is so iconic. That scene embodies that song. Best original song, won an Academy Award, whatevs. But Whole New World, whenever they're flying, making out, doing stuff on the carpet. You know what I mean?
Did they make out in that scene?
Yeah, totally.
Nice. Yeah, that was. By the way, how fucking good is the music in these two movies combined? I mean,
Oh, we'll get
the
to
best,
it. We'll get
probably
to it in a minute.
any Disney movie.
yeah. All right, Geiger, best scene. Can you beat A Whole New World? Don't you dare
Cool,
close
so
your fucking eyes.
Basketball, I just stole the ball from Banner at half court. I got no one guarding me for a layup, but I'm going to be cocky and pull it back and try to shoot a three-pointer. Because
Or
everyone
like
wants
throw
me
it
to,
off the backboard to yourself.
Yeah. Everyone wants me to do the Stampede scene. However, the Stampede scene sets up this scene, and that's when Simba comes back as adult Simba and meets Rafiki, and Rafiki basically tells him that his father lives in him and sees his reflection in the water, and his father becomes a cloud and actually speaks to him. That actually almost makes me cry more than, because when your father dies, yeah, that sucks, but if you can actually still have a connection, you know, with your father or mother, whoever that you miss that's been dead for years, but you still feel a connection that they're still inside you and still talking to you and still giving you life lessons. I think that scene is more iconic to me than the Stampede scene. It's basically me saying that I'm a Zeppelin fan. I'm not going to say my favorite song, Stairway to Heaven. I'm going to say it's rock and roll or something like that.
That's one scene I really can't wait to see in the live action adaptation. Banner, you had a really good argument, but it doesn't matter. It's in the past. So I'm going to have to go Lion King here. That scene hit me so much as a kid where he goes, Simba, you have forgotten me. I remember being 8, 1 inch from the TV going, no, he hasn't.
No, yeah.
And that's like, oh, I don't even get it yet. So
Think some kids like Vader's in this movie? No, it's a different. Just keep watching.
Let's just fucking go with it. Banner, I respect your fight here because this is a super uphill battle, but I have to give that one to Lion King. It is 2-1 Lion King over Aladdin. All right, impact on pop culture. I didn't think it could get any harder until we got to this category for you, Banner. Matt, we'll let you go first.
So, A Whole New World, a lot of the soundtrack, but the soundtrack that Elton John came is still being played on the radio today. Like pretty much, I think at least 4 of the songs are still being played on the radio. Obviously, we can both say it's impacted because in 2019, they're both getting their own movies. I'm not going to bring up the movies now because one trailer looks good and one trailer looks fucking stupid ridiculous, but that's not the movie's fault from back then. However, I would say for impacts on pop culture, man, this is what really kicked off Disney. You think Aladdin, but this movie was iconic. Maybe it's just for me being a millennial, but this movie came out when I was starting kindergarten and everyone had Lion King backpacks. Everyone had Lion King toys. Everyone had Lion King apparel, shirts. It might have been that way for Aladdin. I'm not sure because I wasn't in school then. This kicked off the career for Jonathan Taylor Thomas for a little bit. And then he kind of stopped. I don't think you can say the same for Steve for Full House. James Earl Jones, he was already iconic when you get this. Jeremy Irons was already a huge actor on Broadway, Nathan Lane. But this movie is, I think, bar none, the best Disney movie ever. We've even had a tournament that said that exactly. Need I say more for impacts on pop culture? We've already voted on this.
Yeah, this is going to be tough to beat. Brian, do your best.
So, yes, like you said, Geiger, we are...
Want to phone a friend?
We are,
you can maybe call Cycling.
No, it's fine.
It's warming up for curling, you might answer.
Like you said, we are getting a live action of both of these movies. I'm just saying which one comes out first. I don't know. Maybe the more important one? I don't know. Weird. That being aside, let's look at what kind of Academy Awards and nominations. Both these movies won Academy Award for Best Original Song as well as Best Original Score or Soundtrack. But Aladdin was also nominated for Best Original or Best Adapted Screenplay, I believe, Best Sound Editing, and there was one other one, but I don't remember what it was. So they both won 2. This was nominated for 5 in 4 categories, and Lion King was nominated for 4, but only in 2 categories. Which, again...
What about the Grammys?
It doesn't fucking matter about the Grammys.
Okay.
Nobody pays
I rest
attention
my
to
case, Your Honor. I rest my case.
I'm just blanking right now. What is the name of the Elton John song when Simba fucks Nala? What's it called again?
I
Like
Can You Feel the Love Tonight?
Can You Feel Love Tonight?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Wait, whose wedding song was that?
Oh God,
It's
that's
fine.
not gonna.
Yeah.
That was the Banner's wedding song.
Yeah.
and we all
What a
fucking
great-
cried.
Yeah, my wife walked down to the aisle to that song, but
And
not
everyone, there
but not
wasn't a
the
dry
movie
eye in the
version.
house.
But not the movie version. It was the Elton
Was
John
a Whole
version.
New World like under royalties, or was it the Elton John version? Even better for me. Okay, keep going, Banner.
Yeah, because
You're
we're
just-
totally judging Elton John, who was in the movie. How many times was Elton John in the movie? I forgot. How many times was that?
Sorry, I'm throwing dirt over your corpse. I can't quite hear you, but
Yeah.
keep going.
Yeah, that's fine.
You're like Will Ferrell and Step Brothers. I'm alive. You're waking the neighbors.
Yeah. Again, I don't
Very
think if Aladdin wasn't successful, we wouldn't have Lion King. There was no movie between Aladdin and Lion King. Aladdin came out 2 years prior to Lion King. So if Aladdin wasn't successful, Lion King wouldn't have ever got greenlit.
I actually can't believe Disney could keep it in their pants for 2 years in the mid '90s. Like, how the fuck do we not release something else?
There's some kids listening now, like, wow, you mean studios used to take their time and just not throw out shit like 5 times a year? Like, yeah, they did. It's weird.
They
It's a
did,
different
son.
time.
Yeah, and
Back
You
in
can
my
actually-
day, kiddo.
that sounds great, Grandpa. Oh man, Banner, you actually might have had that one until he did remind me that your bride walks down the aisle to "Can You Feel the
Wedding
Love
song.
Tonight," and it was
Mother
perfect
child.
and poetic.
Yeah.
So I got to go Lion King here, which it will effectively wrap it up 3-1, but Aladdin has to cover 1.5. So with rewatchability, can you cover the spread? Banner, we'll go to you first.
So yeah, I've got 2 things. First off, Lion King, you've admitted on past pods that you cry every time. So
Yes.
Me?
Aladdin, both of you, Aladdin won't
Oh.
make you cry. So I mean, there's that.
No.
Also,
Maybe
yeah,
laughing.
yeah,
Maybe it feels good to feel something, you know?
maybe. Sure, Nala may give you a boner, but I mean, Jasmine's not that bad to look at. So, you've got that going for you.
And it's
I mean-
probably more socially acceptable for me to have a crush on a human being than a female lion.
Right. I mean, in our animated
Fucking
female
Obama.
character, in our animated female character tournament, that's a Final Four, if not a championship matchup. And,
Cartoon character boner madness coming to you next year.
Yeah.
Next March.
No, I mean, I think that while Lion King is great, it is Hamlet. It's a rendition of that, where Aladdin is some other Arabian fairy tale that we in America haven't heard of. So it's a little bit more fresh, a little bit more original. And again, we get to hear Robin Williams, which is the most iconic character out of both movies.
Strong argument. Geiger, defend it.
I'm not gonna lie, man. Lion King, I got to be at a certain place in my life because Lion King is about life, about losing close people to you. And anytime I see it on, I'm like, I'm just, I'm not in the state of mind to watch this. Aladdin is way more rewatchable. I'm gonna
Such a
side
pity-
with Banner on this. I
such a
totally
fucking
agree with
pity
him.
one.
I already beat you anyway, but
I
it's,
know.
it is way more rewatchable. I will agree with him on that. However, if you want to go for the better movie, better acted, better casted, better voice casted, better the song, basically just the best movie in 1994, which is a year that we saw Legends of the Fall, Forrest Gump, I think
Jurassic
Goodfellas
Park.
and countless others, Jurassic Park. It's the best movie in the best year, period.
Yeah, you actually
Yeah.
summed up my argument perfectly. The Lion King is probably the better movie, but that's because of the emotional beats that really hit you. If I just want to sit down and watch a movie, it's going to be Aladdin probably 9 times out of 10 because really Robin Williams' performance alone, I think, is more rewatchable and just more fun to revisit. So not even as a handout, I will go with Aladdin, Banner. And you've covered the spread, which Rick Pitino in Vegas know how important that is. for
I'm
you.
not
That's not
gonna
a
lie.
pity point.
No, it
At
wasn't.
all?
I am actually shocked that it was 2-3. I thought it was going to be 4-1. If I'm going to be completely honest going into
Now,
this.
some would say it was a backdoor cover, because it happened at the end
Yeah,
of the
I
game.
mean, we got to make it 2-3 because we might get sued again, and we need Cycly on the pod. I mean, he would quit if it was 4-1.
Yeah, because if he was the one suing us, then we'd really be fucked.
Yeah, because he
What do
knows
you
all
do?
our secrets, and he has all our files too. I don't even know my social security number, but he does.
No, I don't either. My paychecks go straight to him. He could actually be siphoning off a lot of my money that I get each
He
He
time.
has our
wouldn't do
social
that, though.
security numbers tattooed on his forearm.
Which I thought was weird, but he said Guy Pearce does it in Memento, so we shouldn't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's like good enough for me. All right, a recap of our Bro v. Bro. The original animated Lion King defeats Aladdin by a score of 3-2. Before we move on to the next part of our show, any last thoughts for your respective movies? Geiger, we'll go to you first. Anything you want to say about Lion King?
They're both fantastic movies. I hate putting them up against each other. I really do, even though we've done it. I think this is like the third or fourth time. But the reason I hate it is because these remakes are going to be put up against each other again, and I think we all know who's going to win, which is really sad because the original Aladdin is a fucking great movie, man. I hate to say what's is the best Disney movies. The best Disney movies ever are Aladdin and Lion King. You should just put them together. They're both good. They're kind of different movies, but I hate that these originals are just going to shit on them, these two new ones that come out. I think Lion King has an opportunity to be good, but I don't think Aladdin's going to make it.
Yeah, we'll have to revisit this in like a year with the two live-action versions. Banner, anything you want to leave the people with on Aladdin?
Yeah, no. If you guys haven't revisited it, go ahead and revisit it. Again, both of these movies are absolutely fantastic. It is a shame that the live-action ones are coming out in the same year. Like Geiger said, I think Lion King has the potential. I don't know if it's going to hit like it does, like the cartoon does. And Aladdin just isn't gonna hit. I am terrified that Will Smith is going to try and be Robin Williams, and I'm even more terrified that Will Smith is going to try and be Will Smith. So, there's.
It's like, hey, Will, you know how people say just be yourself? Don't fucking do that.
But again, I think these are the two best. Disney animation movies. Obviously, that's excluding all the Pixar. I think it's important to say that as well because there's some Pixar movies. Check out our Pixar Movie Madness tournament that were great. Had something else, so I'm just kind of mumbling until I remember what it was.
It doesn't matter. It's in the past. By the way, if you want to watch either of these two movies with us, like Geiger mentioned earlier, we have done on our YouTube channel movie commentaries on each of them, where we just play the movie and get drunk and watch it with you at home.
I'm gonna make an audible on pod. We're gonna up. We were waiting until the live action comes out to drop Lion King. We're gonna drop that this weekend. So
do a little
watch
double
out for
feature
that.
with the Broforce Squad. Get drunk and watch Aladdin with us, and then get drunk and
honestly, guys, that's only like 3 hours.
To hear it as we are, because I don't remember one thing from it. I was shit-faced drunk.
I think in the Aladdin movie commentary, we order pizza, and the Domino's guy briefly comes in and says like a word on the podcast.
I do remember that one because that one's been out for a while, and I've listened to it, but I couldn't even tell you where we were at. I can't remember if we were at Banner's lab or my place doing the Lion King.
I think we've done Lion King like 3 times, and we just had to keep redoing it because we were just too fucked up.
Yeah.
It happens.
That tends to happen. All right. Moving on to the next part of our show. It is our protein shake, where we go around and talk about what is in our cup, also known as what have we watched lately. I have 4 things this past week. We all watched one movie the same. Banner, how many do you have?
Yeah, I have that one movie, and then I have a season of an show.
Okay, so not much. Geiger, how about you? Just to
I
figure
got
out.
some YouTube stuff.
Oh, hell yeah.
All right.
How about we'll just go real quick, Geiger. You're the only one. The first movie we all saw together was, of course, Avengers Endgame, the culmination of the Infinity Saga and the first 22 MCU films. So Banner and I gave our thoughts on our Avengers Endgame spoilers review, which you should check out. But Geiger, you didn't get to talk about it at all. So anything you want to say about Avengers Endgame? We actually saw it together, but because it was so late when we got out, I don't even think got to talk about it at all in person.
Yeah,
right?
and I was at Vegas all week and some airport problems where I was up for like 18 hours straight, so I didn't really feel like it. But I'll have to say one thing about Endgame, and I feel really sorry for Endgame for this thing, is it should be compared to the Star Wars saga, even though when Star Wars was at its prime in the 70s and 80s, it only had 3 movies. This has like 20-some. But I feel bad for it is that it has so much superhero saturation, so many movies that kind of fucked it up, but so many movies that were actually good that you compare to it. Like I was talking to Banner off pod and Jeff for you a little bit. The ending I thought was great. I loved how they ended it. However, I'm like, I felt more in Logan. But back in the day of Star Wars, there was nothing to compare Star Wars to. That was it. But since we have so many superhero movies, people are going to compare it so much to be like, I like that scene, but I think they did it better in The Dark Knight. Or I like that scene, but I think they did it better in X-Men 2 or something like that. Which I think that gets a bad rap, man, because you can't please everyone. However, I like that Robert Downey Jr., spoilers, if we're doing this, I know we already spoiled it in when you guys did it, but I like that he was the only one to die. I kind of hated his funeral because that should have been done in DC because it was awesome in the comics, and they totally fucked that up in Justice League and everywhere when Superman. But that's how a funeral should be done, with all the superheroes there, not in mass, just in. Can
you imagine seeing all those people on set for that day? Like Michelle Pfeiffer was there to not. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ! It was like.
Can you imagine like the party afterwards with all those people that were just fucking the A-listers in Hollywood? I like Cap's ending too, man. I like that Cap's story came full circle. I thought it was very well done. The time travel thing kind of. I'm just not a fan of time travel. I'm just gonna tell you that. Even if it's in the comic arc. I just feel after Lost, it just ruined Lost for me. It's just kind of a cop-out to me. However, I think they made it, work, even though they did it. The first act and the third act I thought were fantastic. The second act was kind of a little blah for me, but it was very well done. I think a great ending to it.
Yeah, I agree. And the only thing I'll add to that is I'm with you. I think you and I grew up, all of us did. We loved superhero, both comics, animated series, action figures, and of course these movies. And I never thought I would hit this point, but I've kind of hit like, all right, I'm getting a little bit of superhero fatigue. And to know that Marvel did I mean, of course they're going to continue with movies because they're fucking money machines. But this was a definitive ending to the 22 film saga they built up. And to me, I'm at peace with it. The beginning of the movie, I didn't really like how comedic it was, considering the way Infinity War ended. But it was an incredibly strong finish. I'm very satisfied. And to me, it's like my love letter. And I can basically say goodbye to the comic book genre in terms of the emotional investment that I had. I'll still see the movies, but it's just going to be another fun film to watch. And I'm with you. I think it's not a perfect movie by any stretch, but it was a great and probably a perfect ending to the Infinity Saga and the MCU up to this point. Banner, anything you want to add?
No, I mean, I echo everything that you guys say. I think that third act is arguably the best third act in the entire MCU. But honestly, this probably isn't. I usually refer to the MCU as having three tiers: a bottom tier, middle, and top. This is probably middle to top of that middle tier. There are a lot of other MCU movies that I like much better than Endgame. But that third act, assembling everybody together, and then obviously how they summed up a lot of the characters and finished this saga out was incredible. And to have the patience and the fortitude to see this vision, 11 years ago, and to build this story over the course of that many movies is something that will never happen again. And I am so thankful that I was able to be alive and honestly the age that I am at in being able to experience that history. It's really cool.
I really can't wait to go back and rewatch that final 45 minutes of fighting. I turned to Geiger. I was like, well, this is it. And I pushed up my chicken tenders. I was like, fuck these. This is business now. Let's get to work. All right, Geiger.
The fight scenes, very well directed. Almost like the original Hulk with Eric Bana is very comic booky. I fucking dug it.
Yeah, it was fucking sick.
Very well done. It was different than they've ever done it before, I feel like.
I know. I feel like the color palette was like darker. Like the whole Hawkeye scene where he's run. I know that the Hawkeye was fucking badass in this movie.
There was one with Captain America where he goes in the air with like one knee in the air that almost felt like I was reading a comic book. It was extremely well directed.
The whole sequence when they're basically playing keep away with the gauntlet from Thanos and Spider-Man, like they keep catching Spider-Man and throwing him and moving him, and that whole
he goes into instant kill mode.
Yeah, all of that to me felt very comic booky as well. I don't know if it was a little choppy, almost like you were reading panel to panel, but yeah, I agree. That whole thing was something they had never done, and they missed opportunities in 21 other movies to do it like that.
And again, the planning, like the fact that they got pretty much everyone from all these. Robert Redford fucking came back in this.
Yeah.
Natalie Portman came back for a really brief scene. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ.
I know that you're upset.
It looked like she was trying too, which was refreshing.
Poor Liv Tyler's
I
at
know.
home, like, eating a cup noodles. Like, give me a goddamn phone call. I'd like to be welcomed back into this. All right, check out our Avengers Endgame review. I'm sure we'll talk about it more at some point. And even though it's 3 hours long, we will probably do a commentary when it comes out, just because, as is tradition.
Yeah, that's a 12-pack movie.
All right, Geiger, you got me really intrigued when you said you watched something on YouTube. So what is that? What's your
Okay,
purpose?
it's kind of what I was talking about last week, but so I love like day in the lives on YouTube, and I'm surprised that the NFL and some of the other sports haven't got into this. But this new wrestling organization I'm talking about that basically, Jeff, I'm getting this pay-per-view on Memorial Day weekend, and you're coming over and watching it with me, and we're going to review it.
Dude, I have Monday off. It's not.
And
I'm
what's
just gonna
great
sleep on
about
your
it is
couch.
you don't have to know shit about it because it's a brand new. I mean, I already know a lot of the wrestlers because they're coming from different places. But Cody Rhodes, the son of Dusty Rhodes, basically has a YouTube channel where he has episodes weekly showing not only how he's putting the show on, because he's the executive vice president. The owner is the son of the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, that Khan, who is a fucking trillionaire. But Cody Rhodes is basically putting this all on at the MGM in Vegas. But he's also having his opponents come on, which he's going to fight his brother, who is Gold Dust, Dustin
Oh
Rhodes.
yeah.
But whenever they're talking, you don't know what's real and what's fake. And that's what wrestling used to be, where you like, are they really pissed at each other? Did that one go too far? Were they cool with what they said?
Sometimes they might not even know.
It's very well done, and it's just so cool that it's like, dude, this is how you're getting younger people. It's not having a weekly show on Monday Night Raw on USA. It's having a YouTube channel that we can watch whenever we want to. We can binge when we want to. And then Dean Ambrose, who just quit WWE, whose real name is John Moxley. He wrestled under the name John Moxley when he was in the Independents before signing with WWE, just came out with a fucking video of him breaking out of jail and fucking going over a barbed wire fence and having his hands all bloody. And he goes up to the fucking camera with his hands all bloody, and behind him are two dice with the numbers 2 and 5, which this pay-per-view is happening May 25th, and everyone thinks he's fucking coming over. All this tease stuff hasn't happened since we were kids. Whenever we'd see Razor Ramon one week, and then he'd come to WCW, and he was Scott Hall, we're like, wait, he's over here now? And you're hearing all these rumors. It's very fucking fun to be a wrestling fan right now. And the promo he just gave about his brother and about how Cody said he's going to kill the Attitude Era, which is the Stone Cold Steve Austin Rock era. He fucking shits on The Rock. He shits on Hulk Hogan. It's fucking something that wrestling hasn't been forever because it's the PG era now. It's like kayfabe, which if you don't know what that is basically back in the day, The Undertaker, if he went on Regis and Kathy Lee, he was The Undertaker. He never broke his role. Now if The Rock goes on or Roman Reigns to Make-A-Wish, he's just his self. He's not the character. But they're not breaking kayfabe at all in this show. And
Like
I fucking dig it.
I want Kane to choke slam the Make-A-Wish kid.
I know. Yeah, that's what I want. I want him in the mask. Like you'll have Rey Mysterio without the mask doing Make-A-Wishes. I'm like, dude, that's I don't dig that
Rey
stuff. But
Mysterio without the mask is like the line in The Goods where he says, "We can get the San Jose Sharks mascot up here, but he can't wear the costume."
yeah. But the one thing I dig is whenever they'll show like a piece of an interview, like Tony Khan, who's the son of the Jacksonville Jaguars, will be given an interview, and they'll be like, hey, for the full interview, click below. And this guy is so smart. He's like, man, I don't even know if we need a TV deal. I think it'd be better to have a wrestling channel on Netflix or just do it on YouTube. I think that would reach more people than just being on basic cable because no one watches it anymore. So it's a brand new way of doing stuff, and I keep wondering, like, if the XFL does this or if someone else does this, could they take over the NFL? Could they take over? I mean, Major League Baseball's got to do something, man. They're losing viewers a ton. Attracting millennials, it just is and basically creating a business nowadays is very interesting to me. So even if you're not in wrestling and you just are an entrepreneur, it's something to kind of check out. It's on a Nightmare Family is Cody Rhodes because he's the American Nightmare. That's his YouTube channel. I'm a fan of podcasts because we're on one, so I'll listen to his sometimes. But it's very interesting.
Yeah, even if you're an entrepreneur, Billy McFarland out there, big fan of the pod. You should check it out. So, Geiger, 3 things. 1 comment, 2 questions. Number 1, we need this because competition makes everyone better. We can all agree that WWE definitely has its warts. And if a diehard fan like you is ready for something new, then they fucked up somewhere along the lines. Number 2, what is the name of the wrestling organization again, or the league? I think you said it.
AEW, All Elite Wrestling. And Jeff, I'll do you one farther and say that the WWE was always okay, but they were never great until WCW was good. That's the only time they've ever been great. And then once they took over it, they started to suck again. So competition makes everything better.
Right now, they don't have a TV deal in place. The pay-per-view is just like a one-off with hopes to expand.
They have a TV deal in place. It's called Tuesday Night Dynamite. They have not named the station yet or the streaming service, but they basically have teased that we have a TV deal in place, but we don't know which thing. They know, but they're not going to say it until the pay-per-view, which is live in Vegas May 25th. And Chris Jericho's on the card, too.
Sold. I will see you on Memorial Day weekend. All right, did you watch anything else?
Not that I really want to talk. Actually, I watched Pleasantville for the first time. It's a good flick.
First time ever?
Wow.
The great Paul Walker.
Great Paul Walker. Yeah, actually, it was really good. Not as 90s as I thought. It kind of fits nowadays, actually, and kind of a hidden meaning in it. But Don Knotts is in it.
Yeah. Don Knotts actually is like a creepy, unintentionally kind of creepy role. Jeff Daniels in it. It's weird because his character is probably like the most affected by it, but I find his storyline the least interesting.
The thing is, if you want my 2 cents on it, I think it's basically about religion and the Bible, and basically how people that are in black and white, like kind of hide their color and hide behind the Bible. But then there's other people that are in color, like, this is me, I sin, but I still believe in God.
Damn.
That's kind of what I take from it.
By the way, you want to hear another great Matt Geiger take? Check out our Bird Box spoilers review. There's more of that fucking.
What I said on that, but I'm sure it's breathtaking.
All right, Banner, to you. What did you watch? What's in your cup?
All right, so obviously we went and saw Endgame. Actually, after Endgame, the next day I unplugged. I went camping with Nate Thurman. Didn't get back didn't get back till Sunday night. It was very, very refreshing just to have the entire weekend to have no movies, no TV or anything. So then I hit it hard on Monday, and today's Wednesday. I watched the first part of Sherlock with Benedict Cumberbatch. It's basically 3.
So they call it parts?
It's only 3 episodes technically, but each episode. Are we supposed
to do a review on all those?
No, it's fine.
Does anyone remember that? Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
What?
No one remembers someone commenting on that, saying that we need to do a review on all the Sherlocks?
Oh. Was it the person I'm thinking of, though?
I can't remember who it was, but someone said you should do all the Sherlocks. I'm like, that show came out 5 years ago. Yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah.
Keep going, Peter.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Anyway, it's basically 3 episodes. Each episode's like an hour and a half long, about Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson. Benedict Cumberbatch, Martin Freeman in it. Very well done. For an American audience, we don't have the attention span for this to be successful over here. But it's well done. I enjoy it. I'm going to keep trucking through it. Let's be honest, I'll probably watch the next 3 parts, which is another like 12 or 15 hours of show by next episode, so I'll report on that next week. But very well done. Benedict Cumberbatch is a fucking monster actor. Absolutely fantastic. I have not seen anything that he's in that I haven't liked, and I actually think this is the best thing I've ever seen him in. Just a fucking weirdo.
Watch The Imitation Game. I think it might be up there, where he plays the dude, the English scientist who cracked the secret Nazi code.
Okay, I haven't seen that.
I think you'd like it.
I'll check it out.
He builds this machine called Enigma that can decode the messages the Nazis send to each other.
All right, I'm in. Anyway, that was what I have watched lately.
Nice. Also, Banner, I meant to text you. Pour one out on the curb for your show, the Santa Clarita Diet, which is canceled.
I saw that. I know.
There is a huge. A lot of people are upset about that.
Yeah, there's a huge internet following, like, to bring it back. So
that's the great thing nowadays. Like, another streaming service could just grab it and it's like saved. That happened with Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I think.
Yeah, Hulu could pick it up. YouTube
also, Banner, we have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. starting in like 2 weeks.
Yep,
so
May 10th, coming back out.
Not all hope is lost. All right, is that all you had?
Yeah, that's all I had, guys. Like I said, I unplugged.
I actually owe you an apology, Banner. Well, not an apology because you didn't actually watch it yet. But I think 2 episodes ago I did a prescribing Banner where I said I've heard about this movie called Freaks of Nature from 2015 that you needed to watch. Starred Keegan-Michael Key, Vanessa Hudgens, Dennis Leary, Patton Oswalt, Bob Odenkirk, Joan Cusack, about a town where vampires, zombies, and humans all live, and it's a comedy. All live and coexist together, and then aliens show up and fuck everything up. And I watched it over the weekend. My fiance was out of town, and it was fucking atrocious.
I think
Dennis
you sold
Leary-
me on it more. I'll watch it now.
No, but it's not even bad. In my Letterboxd review, I said this. I was like, it's not even bad to where it's fun. It's bad because like it's a comedy and none of the jokes hit at all.
God, that's awesome. I love when
So-
that happens.
It's just really rough, and it's worse because it's like unlike a sitcom where like they can plug in a laugh track or something. Like John Cryer from Two and a Half Men is not funny at all, but they can create the facade that he is. In this movie, like someone would say a joke, and I would just be like, "My God," because like I think that's the thing, right? If you don't have a studio audience and you film a movie, you don't know. You're like, "Are we fucking killing it right now?" The premise was there was like CGI that was purposely bad. That part was funny. But the whole rest of the movie, it's like this teen high school melodrama that part's serious, and then it's like put in this genre film that like they don't take seriously. It was just really, really weird and not at all fun. It was like an hour, 21 minutes, and I don't think I could have lasted another 5 minutes of this thing. So Freaks of Nature, I unprescribe it. I'm like the doctor that gives you like the wrong. I'm like fucking Heath Ledger's doctor. Like, I'm sorry, I almost killed you. My
Michael
bad.
Jackson's doctor.
Just one more prescription, please. 2 other things I watched that were actually much better. I watched DC had a new animated movie. We love DC animated on this pod.
Yes.
Check out our Son of Batman review, our Justice League Dark review from way back when. But they had a movie, Justice League vs. The Fatal Five. And what really sold me on this is the original voice cast from the Justice League animated series was back. So we had Kevin Conroy as Batman. The guy who did Superman's voice was back. And it was really good. The Fatal Five is basically this group of 3 supervillains they're fighting who are trying to free the other 2 members of the Fatal Five. And it was just great. It was like 50 minutes. It was fucking action-packed. The animation's awesome. And it's just like a lot of Batman and all the people you want to see kicking the shit out of the Fatal Five. So Justice League vs. the Fatal Five, I recommend a super quick watch. Last thing I watched was, this movie's old, but it's older, but it's on Netflix. Have any of you guys seen Saving Mr. Banks?
Yeah.
About how they made Mary Poppins?
Yep, about making Mary Poppins. Tom Hanks is Walt Disney.
Yeah, Tom Hanks plays Walt Disney. Emma Thompson plays P.L. Travers, the woman who wrote Mary Poppins and hated Walt Disney and like refused for the longest time to sign over the film rights to him. This movie is very emotional. Colin Farrell plays P.L. Travers' dad. Half of the movie is told in flashbacks with her as a young girl, and he's her alcoholic father. So like this is definitely not like
stretch for him.
Right. He must have been like, well, I've never had a taste of the wine or the liquor, but I suppose I could do it for the movie. They're like, but you have a handle of whiskey in your car. Well, I was trying to prepare. You're always trying to prepare for the job you want, not the job you have. But it's very good, and it goes a couple places you don't think it's going, and a couple other nice character actors in it. B.J. Novak, who plays Ryan in The Office, is one of the writers of the music for Mary Poppins, and then Bradley Whitford from The West Wing, and he's the creepy dad in Get Out. He plays the screenwriter of it. Also, Paul Giamatti is in it too. He has a nice little role.
One really cool thing that I think that they did in that movie that I was surprised that they did was they actually showed Walt Disney smoking. Obviously, he died of lung or heart disease because he was a chain smoker, but he never let anybody take a picture. Like, nobody saw. There's no record that he was. But they actually...
And they bring that up briefly in the movies. Like, I normally don't like people to see me smoking.
Yeah, so I thought that was really...
Which is weird, too, because back then everyone smoked to see Mad Men.
Yeah.
Yeah, so really cool that or kind of cool that they put that in there, just showing the realism of the event or of how all that went down.
I'll see what's that. That's like, who cares? I mean, he smoked. It's not like he had like Nazi paraphernalia or anything, you know?
Yeah, it's not like he's had someone cryogenically freeze his body waiting for all the Jews to die out.
It's not like any of that happened.
Wouldn't that be fucking insane?
Oh.
Anyway, I really like Saving Mr. Banks. Geiger, I think you'll like it too. It's 2 hours even, so it might be like a 2-sitting watch.
I'm into that, even though I remember that trailer coming out, and every time Tom Hanks is like, hey, Oscars, look at this, what I'm doing, I kind of roll my eyes. But actually, I'm into that because I care about Walt Disney, so I might go see it.
I think
I could care less about a guy named Sully landing a plane, but I am into this.
And also, this movie is really not even... It's not really about him. Like, he's already Walt Disney in it. It's about, like, him trying to get this script from P.L. Travers and why the character of Mary Poppins is so important to her, why she doesn't want to fucking sell it to the corporation as he's
so it's probably like kind of like the founder, Ray Kroc kind of story.
Yeah, that's a pretty good analogy. But part of it, like, she is given permit, like, she's like, all right, before I sign the rights over, what would this movie look like? And so pretty much half the movie, she's sitting with the composer and the scriptwriter, and they're going over the script, like what the movie would look like, and she is allowed to veto anything she doesn't like in the script. And of course, she gets really power hungry with it, to the point where she's like, at one point she says, the color red cannot be in the movie. And he's like, what the fuck are we doing here?
She absolutely hated the animated part with Dick Clark. Like,
right.
She
hates Dick Van Dyke.
Dick Van Dyke. I'm sorry, not Dick Clark.
She says he sucks balls.
Yeah.
The English equivalent of saying he sucks balls.
So is it, she sucks balls?
All right, it's just going to get worse. Before we move on to the last part of our show, Brian, what was that question you said that you wanted to ask?
Yeah, I just had a question for everybody. Do you even lift?
It's a nice little uptick at the end.
I was like,
optics.
Similance. And that brings us to our question answer segment. Do you even lift bra, where we dig up questions from across the internet and answer them on our show? Today's sole question comes to us from Carter Anderson at Carter A39200367. That's my social security number. He asks, what sitcom deserves a movie? Personally, a Brooklyn Nine-Nine movie would be fire. And Carter, the reason that's a great one is because if you look at the cast of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, that's basically a comedy movie film cast in and of itself. I mean, led by Andy Samberg. Plus the cop drama, the procedural, hasn't been parodied since Police Academy, because I think the other guys actually becomes more of like a buddy cop movie than it does a parody of cop movies. So I would love to see a Brooklyn Nine-Nine movie. Great answer. And guys, I think we've actually addressed this before on maybe not necessarily with a sitcom. I don't know, maybe we have or haven't. Geiger, do you have an answer for a sitcom that you think deserves a movie, past or present?
Yeah, Saved by the Bell.
Oh, you have said that one before. Yeah. Although your fan casting last time seemed a little bit... It was like,
I want Dwayne The Rock Johnson as AC Slater. I want Cardi B as Lisa. I want Zac Efron to dye his hair blonde and be Zach Morris. I want Michael Cera as Screech. I'd like Elizabeth Berkley just to come back as Jessie because she's hotter than hell. And then some brunette chick that's hot can be Kelly.
Nice.
Paul Giamatti would be a good Mr. Belding.
He actually would be.
Yeah.
So he can play like, okay, we kind of love him, but also like, all right, he's telling us to get off his fucking lawn too.
You got to make it rated R though. If you've ever went back and rewatched Saved by the Bell, which is on Hulu, and me and my wife love that show, like the premise to those for a Peter Ingle show that's just supposed to teach kids in like middle school how to behave. Like there's this one episode where Zach just like will not go to the dance with this chick because she's just really fat and ugly, which like nowadays would just not like work.
And there's not like a lesson to be learned from it, right?
Not really at all. Like Zach's just like, finally at the end, he's like, listen, I know it'll make your night, so I'll dance with you in front of people, okay? But we're not really together. It's fucking awesome.
That's charity work, right? He gets like community service hours for that?
Yeah, he gotta make a wish for that for sure. You got one checked off. But
right.
That movie would be awesome. You gotta make it rated R though.
Like a 21 Jump Street style. Yeah, I got you. Banner, any sitcom you would like to see made into a movie? I probably took the one you would pick. Because you turned me on to this show that I
Yeah,
picked.
I was gonna say you kind of cockblocked me on that one, but that's fine. No, I mean you guys always make fun of me because I like the show Chuck. I know,
Fucking loser.
I know, but it's a fun show. Little CIA, lots of 80s, 90s. What's it called?
References?
Yes, thank you.
I don't know. I've never seen the show.
Yeah,
Could you even afford Zachary Levi now, though?
probably not. There's a big when the show was canceled, I believe it was like 2008, 2009. There was a big push to make a movie, and Zachary Levi said he would still be open to it, but yeah, they can't afford him now. But I think that would be a good one. But yours is way better.
I thought Zachary Levi was crushing it because of Shazam, and then my fiance made me watch a few episodes of The Marvelous Miss Maisel, and he showed up in that, and I was like, oh, I guess things aren't going so great for him. Then he had to do this show. I mean, the show's fine, but it's like...
Is that on Netflix or HBO?
It's on Amazon.
Amazon Prime.
I've heard of it for some reason.
It's fine. It's like she's like a 1920s comedian, and she's pretty funny. She's like really vulgar, and men are like, "Oh my god, that woman just said fuck," and talked about like how small our dicks are. How dare she? But the problem with it is the episodes are 50 minutes, and it's a comedy. I'm just like, I was like, chill out.
God, those were the days, right?
All right, mine, I got to give a tip of the cap to Banner. So Banner and I were college roommates for, I think, 2 years in college. And he had all 7 seasons. Was it 7 or 8?
It's 8.
8.
Check
all
yourself.
8 seasons of this show on DVD. And I think I watched the whole thing in, 2 weeks?
It was something like that. I watched most of them with you, but you specifically asked me to leave the room to watch the finale.
Yeah, it was a religious experience for me. And obviously I didn't go to class much during that time, but I fell in love with this show, and it's held up ever since. This was probably 2007 that I went back and rewatched all of it. And that is That 70s Show. Mm-hmm. And I think that a movie of this would be awesome. I think it would be really, really cool to see their 20-year high school reunion in the 90s. Now, I know that you might say that's taking them out of the 70s. What's the point? But I fucking love the 90s. And to see, Kelso in the 90s as, a 38-year-old guy.
It's really baggy, carpenter jeans on.
Exactly, right? And, now that's what I call Music 4 is playing at their high school reunion. I think that would just be fucking hilarious to see. As a movie concept, that'd be great.
Well,
the
best part about that show is that it just happens to be placed in the 70s. It doesn't have to be. So taking that show, I mean, you could put it in any decade or any era that you want. Just because we're putting it in the 90s, which is our favorite, time frame, because that's when we were kids, just makes it that much sweeter.
And I think the reason it would work in the 90s as a movie in the 90s just for 2 reasons. Number one, their parents would be the age in the 90s that ours were in the 90s. So it's we could relate to their kids or see that time through our parents' eyes. And the other thing is it would just be cool to catch up with all those characters and see what became of them. In the 20 or 15 plus years since we left them in that 70s show. I had one honorable mention. Geiger, I know you'll appreciate this, and I don't know how they would do it with how the show ended, but the show Dinosaurs.
They wouldn't. They couldn't. We actually literally just talked about this on our Game of Thrones review.
Would it just be Banner digging up fossils because they fucking died at the end?
Allegedly. We all know the Ice Age did kill him, even though that's what Mr. Freeze and Batman and Robin would have you believe. Check out our Batman and Robin movie commentary.
Please.
Have to plug that.
You'll be very entertained, trust me.
There's a quote where Geiger says, quote, "And so Bane is just going to wear a fucking top hat," end quote.
It's kind of like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Don't dare watch it not fucked up, but you'll enjoy it. You won't enjoy it if you're not drunk or high or something, though.
That's actually Bane with that top hat is the photo that comes up every time Geiger calls me.
Is it really?
Awesome.
Yeah.
And he's driving the cab. And of course, he knows. He's like Mr. GPS. He knows Gotham.
He knows Gotham, and he also flew the fucking plane, I believe, that got them there.
I hear there's a wreck on 35. We better take Midway around.
And then
Poison Ivy's like, whatever, just get us there.
No, and then the person in the back of the cab's like, at 5:30, it's like, look, I've been driving the fucking Gotham City streets a lot longer than you have, okay? Also, can you pump that button? I'm running out of venom. If I'm going to do rush hour traffic, I need some of that in my system.
God, it's great.
All right. For the mad scientist Brian Banner and our enforcer in the paint, Matt Geiger, I'm the mayor, Jeff Hornacek, and we are the Bro Force Squad podcast. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. Give us a follow on Twitter at Bro Force Squad. Check out all of our movie reviews on letterboxd.com, Bro Force Squad. 3 words. If you type those same 3 words into iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube, you can find us and subscribe to us there, and you can check out all of our content on our website, broforcesquad.com. Till next time, we will catch you later. I remember at the beginning of the Batman and Robin movie commentary, we talked about you buying the DVD and how your credit card company called you. Like, is everything okay with this purchase?
Is everything okay with home? Yeah, well, at first they thought it was stolen, and I was like, no, I purchased. Like, is everything okay with at home?
It's good to get some
That's
beer.
good. We'll have to play that back sometime. We could use all that stuff as a cold open. Just put it in the fridge.
Yeah.
Use it for leftovers.
Like, but they don't even talk about Star Wars this episode. Why does